Karen's audacity reached a dramatic new level when she busted down the door to my cabin, believing that force and intimidation could compel compliance. She assumed that her HOA authority, combined with sheer aggression, would allow her to take control of the property. What she didn't anticipate was that my guest, familiar with the cabin's layout and safety measures, would turn the tables in a way that left her humiliated and powerless. It began on a quiet morning when my guest arrived at the lake cabin. Karen, spotting movement from a distance, decided that this was the perfect opportunity to assert her imagined authority. Without warning, she approached the cabin and attempted to force her way inside. Her audacity and sense of entitlement were staggering. She clearly believed she could intimidate anyone and impose control through aggressive action. Just as she began attempting to break in, my guest noticed her approach. Calm, composed, and prepared, he immediately assessed the situation. Karen's approach was predictable. Her overconfidence and aggressive tactics had become second nature. Utilizing his knowledge of the property and awareness of her likely moves, he positioned himself strategically to confront her actions safely but effectively. I arrived moments later, fully aware of Karen's history of harassment and intimidation. Karen, expecting to meet surprise and fear, was instead met with calm authority and preparation. Her confident smirk began to falter as she realized that her plan was unraveling. She waved papers, shouted about HOA rules, and insisted on her authority, but each claim was systematically dismantled by the facts, documentation, and logical enforcement. The situation escalated briefly as Karen tried to force entry, but my guest, employing clever tactics to block access without causing harm, left her frustrated and flustered. Deputies, already on alert due to previous harassment complaints, arrived promptly. Karen attempted to argue, insisting that she had authority to enter the cabin, but her claims were met with clear legal rebuttal. Trespassing, property rights, and documented history of harassment left her powerless. Neighbors and onlookers, accustomed to her audacity, gathered to watch the confrontation. Karen's confidence melted as she faced undeniable evidence, public scrutiny, and law enforcement intervention. Her audacity, which had previously allowed her to manipulate and intimidate, had collided with preparation, authority, and careful planning, leaving her exposed and humiliated. Karen's son, watching helplessly, realized the magnitude of their repeated reckless behavior. The confidence and entitlement that had fueled her schemes now dissolved in the face of legal authority and public exposure. Each prior act of overreach, manipulation, or intimidation added to the growing record of her failure. By mid-afternoon, Karen was flustered, powerless, and retreating. The cabin remained secure, my guest unharmed, and the property fully under our control. The HOA's repeated attempts at intimidation had been decisively neutralized. Her audacity had met preparation, legal authority, and clever resistance, and lost spectacularly. This incident reinforced a critical lesson. Entitlement, aggression, and obsession with control are ineffective against preparation, law, and strategic planning. Karen's repeated overreach, escalating into physical confrontation and trespass, had predictably resulted in public humiliation, exposure, and legal risk. By evening, the lake cabin was calm once again. Karen's influence diminished, her schemes thwarted, and the saga of HOA overreach continued. Each confrontation further solidifying the undeniable pattern of audacity meeting authority and losing spectacularly. Karen's obsession with control had collided with reality, leaving her powerless, exposed, and publicly humiliated.